So today we're going to talk about Saturn a lot because Saturn just stopped in the sky on September 6th. And that's what's flavoring your week. One of the best things astrology does is gives you a heads up on what each day is like. When people are angry and when they're nice and when they're not so nice. And you can find this from the planetary patterns. But when a planet slows down and stops in the sky, oh boy, it floods your consciousness. And that's what's happening to you, because Saturn stopped in the sky yesterday. If you're in a Thursday show, you're on a Saturn station. Ben Franklin was kind of an expert in Saturn. He did not run in fear from it. So to use it positively, is quite a thing. At any rate, this Saturn stop has benefits to it. It sextiles Venus, trines Uranus, a lot of good stuff going on, Mercury. But here's the thing, I studied it. I wanted to know its effect on the market. Gold and silver, oh boy. It happened I had a client who had a beautiful house up on a cliff on Kauai. He made his living with gold futures. And his whole house is filled with computers. He was a technical guy. And he found out that if he hired me to run the planets, that the planets would help him with his work and make money for all of his customers. He had a lot of customers that were all invested in whether gold went up or down. And so I went and hanged out with him in his beautiful home and had access to all the records. And I found out real quick that Saturn was important. Because what happens is, when Saturn slows down and stops and reverses direction, when it slows down and stops, floods your consciousness, Saturn, people get conservative and they get scared. And when they get conservative and scared, they buy gold and the price of gold goes up. So I'm looking through years and years and years of records that this guy had. And I'm watching these times when the price of gold went up. And let's say we're looking at it right now. Now gold is a little manipulated. It doesn't respond quite as well to the charts. There's big corporations and computers involved. But here's the stopping point on the 6th of September. What I discovered was you start feeling Saturn 20 days before, and it gets stronger on this bell-shaped curve, and 20 days after. And what you're seeing is really the price of gold goes up to the peak of when you're most worried. Because you're pretty worried right now, aren't you? I don't have enough. I'm not saving. So Saturn, peaks out here and then mellows out in about 20 days. Now Jupiter does the same thing, 20 days on either side. But when Jupiter stops in the sky, people get optimistic and they sell their gold to go out and do new things. Jupiter wants new things, so the price of gold goes down. So Saturn stops, gold goes up. Jupiter stops in the sky, gold goes down. And I can track it with the price of gold. And I did, and I found this 20-day cycle. And when I found the cycle, the expert, the chart, the guy that does all the charts on gold, said, oh, that's the Levinsky 20-day thing or something. He had a name for it. They had discovered that cycle statistically, at least its length. So Saturn is happening now. Yes. Take a look at the sky mirror. That's our main job here today. And I always drive Saturn kind of, worrisome, right? Here he is. He's all worried. What's he worried about? Well, he's just a Grinch. And basically, he's a cross of matter over the crescent of people. The cross of matter means this hard stuff, this money, food, crescent of flesh. The moon here is people. So Saturn is famous for being the old banker, the Grinch, the guy who puts money before people, throws the family from their home. You know, they didn't pay off their mortgage. So Saturn has a bad reputation. He comes in as the judge, too. Remember the judge in Ben's story, you know, he gave one side of the oyster to the lame guy and one side to the blind guy, and the center, the goodies, he kept for his fee. Well, Saturn's like that. So nobody likes Saturn very much. He's called a great malefic in ancient times, and they knew their astrology. Jupiter was a great beneficial Jupiter. So we got Saturn hitting on us right now. It's going to seem gray, cold, can be depressive. This is classical depression that the psychiatrists will try to trank you out and give you pills for. But with astrology, you can tell when this feeling's going to come up. Yeah. The great herbalist said use hemp for symptoms of Saturn. Symptoms of Saturn like you're not eating, and you're losing weight, and you're depressed. Okay, here's our pattern. Noticeable right now, the sun's opposing Neptune. Nobody's happy with the ocean and the rain and the liquids. No. That's where it's 15 degrees Virgo, 15 degrees Pisces. But there's some interesting truths coming out. Maybe this will be about marijuana. I'm doing some CBD oil now for pain, and wow, it's helping my back really great. CBD is part of the pot plant that doesn't get you high. It's great stuff. It's legal everywhere. If you've got pain issues, you should look into it. I got rid of all my opioid crap and stuff by taking half an aspirin, crushing it, add a little baking soda in a shot glass of water and swallowing, and then some CBD, 9 or 10 drops of CBD oil. Those two things, a little tiny bit of aspirin, buffered, and a little tiny bit of oil, and my terrible back pain goes away. Wonder of wonders. Well, there's practical stuff going on here, and Saturn is practical. Let's see how it goes day by day. We're going to run the moon around the edge here, and as it makes angles to these actors on the stage, it generates the mood of the times. That's what these little small symbols are. The blue ones are sextiles and trides when things are going easy. The red ones are squares and oppositions when they're not so easy. What's going on for you right now? Well, let's take a look. If you're on the Thursday show, the moon's in Leo, and in the morning people were kind of nurturing, and it was kind of calm most of Friday, the 7th of September, because you're going towards, what's that, a nice sextile to Venus Friday night. This is 10, 11 o'clock. Be with somebody you love. Plan for some pleasure, some fun, some sweets. Friday night. Venus is smiling on us, yes. Saturday morning on the 8th. There's my two minor birds outside saying, "Give us the cat food." They can see me in here. They know I'm up. They want their breakfast. They're my friends. Friends are around. Uranus and Saturn. The moon goes into Virgo Saturday morning, and it makes a trine to Saturn and a trine to Uranus. Now Uranus is higher consciousness, mental consciousness, higher mental sciences like astrology, Buddhism, common sense. Saturn is the traditional stuff, you know. So here's a chance for astrology to go traditional. Saturn trining Uranus. Maybe these professors will stop beating up astrology. There's a chance of it anyway. Saturday morning, the 8th. Could be a lot of common sense. Yeah, a lot of brotherhood. Mercury's there too, so you can talk about this stuff. And there'll be considerable talk Saturday morning. Check out the internet and the news, and just go outside and sit under a tree and listen to that bird, and you'll have some enlightenment from the master Uranus. He's not Neptune. Neptune is a religion. Uranus is the science. Yes, after what's happened to us, maybe the politicians will get that global warming's real and start to do something. We can only hope, but hope is good Saturday morning. On Sunday, the 9th of September, you're going to have a new moon. It's at 17 degrees of Virgo, and it trines Pluto. Yeah, trining Pluto. Well, the volcano will calm down, all the hysteria over policemen and stuff. It opposes Neptune. It doesn't like fake drugs and DEA and, the new drug war. Oh yeah, let's get more people in jail over things that shouldn't even be in the law books. Neptune stuff. I mean, morphine was a gift of us for God, and so is marijuana. These are herbs. We should have the right to use them without, being criminalized. Criminalized because the government didn't like the Mexicans, so they criminalized marijuana. They don't like the blacks, so they criminalized morphine, heroin, laudanum. Well, this is sick stuff. It's time we got some wisdom on it. So this new moon sextiles Jupiter, and there are some lawyers who are going to come out and say, hey, this is wrong. Our jails are full of people who smoked a little pot or had a few opium poppies in their yard. There's a crazy thing going on here. It costs a lot of money. Okay, Frost. Anyway, that's what this new moon Sunday, September 9th, is going to be telling us. And maybe it's the doctors and the drug companies that are really making this problem with the opioids. Think on that Sunday. On the 10th, which is Monday, the moon shifts into Libra, and it gets kind of cold and gray because here's the square to Saturn. Now Saturn just stopped on the 6th. That's 4 days ago. So he's very active. It could get cold here. You could feel old. You don't have enough. The judge is here. Look out, here come the judge, and it's Monday morning. You'll be late getting to work. Better leave early. You'll still feel it even in a Tuesday, September 11th. That feeling of Saturn is so strong. Here in the afternoon, there's a square to Pluto. There's a little panicky feeling. As you go to Tuesday night, it gets aggressive. The square to Mars is coming up early Wednesday morning, just before breakfast. People are angry. First they panic a little bit Tuesday, then they're angry Wednesday morning. And what's going on? Here's Venus. She's in the middle of it. Uh-oh. Opposing Uranus, squaring Mars. This could be a tough time for the girls. Keep your daughter home Wednesday. Yeah, because this Uranus-Mars square, it's still going on, see? And Mars is a bad guy. And Uranus says, heat him up quick. Let's have a sudden road rage. So, tough Wednesday. Settles down a little bit Wednesday afternoon with the sextile to Saturn. And the old judge comes in and says, oh, we can fix this. And then Thursday, oh, delightful stuff. Truth and wisdom comes out. Jupiter and Neptune and the Sun continues through Friday night with Mars. You can get stuff done. And then Saturday gets very confused. What's that? Neptune square. And then on Sunday, here's Saturn, and you're going to feel the old goat. Boo. Boo.